what a concept that I've got called ample reason. And I want you to think about this, and you want to write this down. We're going to talk about ample reason. It has got to occur as you exist in Old Home for you to do anything in your life. You've got to come to a point of ample reason for you to cross the threshold of living in Old Home and moving to New Home. Let's look at what does ample reason mean. Ample reason is the sum of internal feelings and facts needed for someone to change. There's a story that has been going around forever. I heard 25 years ago. You've all heard it, but it's the story of Old Blue, the dog that's sitting on the porch. And the dog's sitting on the porch, and about every 10 minutes that dog will go, "Arr!" And, a visitor came on the porch one time, and the farmer was up there, and he finally, about the third time, he said, "What in the world is up with that dog?" And he said, "Oh, it ain't nothing. He's just laying on a nail." And he said, "Well, what in the world is he doing there?" He said, "He's just too lazy to move." And so most of us stay in Old Home. It's painful in Old Home, but it's not painful enough, is it? And when the facts add up, the intelligence adds up, the reasoning adds up and becomes ample, then you come to the point where you realize it is time to change. Ample reason is also the condition required to initiate and sustain a move. Once you move from Old Home and you start going to New Home, folks, it's time to throw away the rear view mirror. Now, one thing, I read a story the other day, said that jet fighters, when they take off in their jet airplane, they don't have time to look in a rear view mirror. If you're flying a plane, you're going to spend a lot of time looking in a rear view mirror. Not a good idea. It doesn't work very well. Folks, you're building a business. It's the last thing you ever want to do is to look back and say, "Well, it wasn't that bad. Old Home wasn't that bad. I know we couldn't pay our bills." The realization that Old Home is no longer acceptable, that's when you come to the point of ample reason. And the point where a person truly commits to changing their life. This is a quantifiable issue here. My college background at Texas Tech University Red Raiders. Can we all please bow down in reverence at this point? Oh, wait a minute. We got a few anyway. Okay. I learned social psychology was what I was in Texas Tech. Love that study. How do groups respond? Not just the psychology of individuals, but the psychology of groups. Debbie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you can quantify these things. And ample reason is something that you can quantify. But more importantly than that, it's something that you need to know about yourself. And when you understand this about yourself, you're understanding your self-motivation. What does it take to get Demetria to do more? What's it going to take for me to really get activated here and to move forward? So it's a very important. That's why we talk about introspection and understanding yourself. Here's a good graph to show what this looks like. That horizontal line right there is the line of ample reason. If you want to look at that and you say, we're in Old Home and there's inaction in Old Home. We don't have to do anything because we're content in Old Home. We're in our comfort zone in Old Home. How many of you know most of us strive every single day for one thing? Comfort. And champions know that is not. That's an improper target. An improper target. Comfort is not what we're looking to do. Fitting in is not what we're looking to do. No, we got to change, and we're going to do something totally different than what everybody else thinks is appropriate. And so we want to cross that line. Now, so one of the things that's got to happen, I believe, is that you're going to have to experience this little dude right here in your life. In fact, that little thing right there has got to turn into this right here. You've got to get downright sick. You got to get mad. How many of y'all are mad at some of your circumstances? You're just downright upset about what you see yourself into. It's that look around and you go, why am I doing this? Why am I living like this? What is up with this? And you got to get outraged. Now, what happened when you were a kid? Here's some psychology for you, Debbie. You back me up on this. When you're a kid, if you get outraged, what happens? You get punished, don't you? Or your mother will come stroke your head and say, now calm down, son. Calm down, little girl. You shouldn't get so upset. I'm telling you today to get upset. Getting upset is good. It may not be politically correct, but you need to get upset. You need to get emotional. You need to get outraged about where you're at right now. If you're not going to do anything. And so outrage is actually a very, very good thing for you to have. When you have that, that's when you can come to that point of decision, and there all of a sudden new home starts to appear in the horizon, and you realize, wow, I can really make some things happen here. This is an internal process that has got to happen in your life. It's got to happen. It happens in my life every day. I'm always discontent. I'm happy, but I'm discontent because things can be better. I realize that old home is not acceptable. Only new home is acceptable. That's what drives us every single day. Well, let's look at this. The decision to move, the resolve to transition. We have this idea of, up here you see this sustained, unwavering belief. If I could give you one quality, I'd give you that one quality right there. And then you're going to have to decide to move into battle, and it's time to get into action. New home is a land of excitement, of inspiration. It's new land of freedoms. New land of freedoms. I want you guys to think about something. You got $500,000 in the bank right now. This is not an IRA. This is not your retirement income. This is a checking account. And you know that every time that you spend anything in there, it's going to get replaced. You guys realize that's what successful entrepreneurship is about? Is about having the ability to have resources. You say, well, Tim, you're worshiping money. I said, not at all. Not at all. I've just gotten into a situation where money is not controlling me anymore. If you're in a situation where money is controlling you, then who's your God, man? Now listen to this. The reason you have giants in your life is because you created them and you nurtured them. You invited them into your life and you allowed them to stay in your life. And you go, oh, don't tell me that. That's hard, isn't it? But it's your creation. The good news is you can slay your giant. And you can circumvent and change old home into new home.